I'm looking a little bright. Let's take it down a little bit. Sorry. Sitting on my cushion. Hello, hello, hello. So, good evening, you beautiful beings. How are you today? Oh God, I'm waiting for my fabulous guest speaker to pull up. I think he has just pulled up. Today we have guest speaker Dante, and the topic of the hour is going to be identity, homelessness, poetry, and the importance of manifestation. Let's get into it. Hi everyone, welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's see if our guest speaker is here. I have two requests.
What's
Hi.
up?
Hello, Dante. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm really good. I like to cover my head up. I don't know why. I'm the do-rag guy. These open
It's,
mic.
it's, a, it's a very American thing, isn't it?
Yes, yes. But I was doing this before it got in vogue and everybody started tying it. I've been doing this since I was a kid, so it's always been.
So you're trying to rep it. Okay, do your thing. Tie it up, tie it up. I got my hair tucked away today. It's one of those days, so do your thing. Well, welcome. It is your first visit, isn't it, to Free Flame Force? And it's my first time experiencing you, so I've been really looking forward to it. Yeah?
Yes.
Before we get into it, let me welcome the few viewers that's here. Guys, welcome. We will make space in the midst of our conversation for you to maybe add some comments and vibe with us. But I don't tend to interrupt the conversation to actually interact with questions, but we will create space to answer these questions. Is that okay, Dee?
Most deaf. Most deaf. I'm
Yeah?
here.
All
Yes.
right. And for those who will be joining us and those who won't be, you can always watch the playback. So it's all good. Dante, otherwise known as the Divine Styles, what's popping?
What's going on? I'm here.
Yeah,
Just share the love, share the light, and
I'm loving it. I'm
yeah.
loving it. Tell me, before you, how did you spend your day leading up to this live talk tonight?
Oh, I was just on Poetic Unity. It's a virtual open mic that was on
Oh,
um,
wow.
Brixton, United Kingdom in the UK.
Really?
Yeah. So
Wow, well, you know about Brixton.
yeah,
Well,
love
you know
Brixton,
about Dirty South in London. Okay.
the
All
dirty South.
right.
Okay, I'm in the dirty South in America. I'm in Mississippi right now.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, tomorrow I'm
Okay.
go to Washington D.C. And earlier this morning we had an open mic on Clubhouse that I host called the 1111 Portal Open Mic, and we ask for everybody that comes on that open mic to manifest things into their lives. So before they speak on,
Yes.
say, "I manifest love, I manifest light," whatever they want to manifest, they manifest, and then they get into their peace. And
That
you can.
is that is so original. I love it. And our time differences, but don't worry, I'm gonna get into jumping on your stuff and watching and hanging out with you. But
Yeah.
tonight's your night, so let's get into it.
Mhm.
Okay. So who is Dante? Tell
Dante.
me about the soul, a bit about the soul of who Dante is.
My name is Dante Goodrich Jure. That's my government name. I
Mm,
changed I changed my name to Dante Pelaye to take on my grandfather's last name because that was
nice.
the grandparent that I really respected and showed love to me. Um,
Mhm.
I needed to evolve, from my birth name. I moved into the Divine Styles. That's my rap name. I said if I ever became a rapper, I would be the Divine Styles. If you ever see me on a marquee, I'd be the Divine Styles. But I think I'm moving into the dream of becoming a rapper through poetry. I believe poetry is a way of life. I live by this saying. Poetry is a way of life. And that stemmed from Catherine Dunham, who was a dancer. She passed away. She's our ancestor now. But Catherine Dunham, she was a
Nice.
psychologist. My mother is a dance professor. She's retired
Wow.
and she would always teach her dancers that dance is a way of life. So
Nice.
with me moving into poetics, I was all like, well, you know what? If she could say dance is a way of life, and I've seen my mother move so many women in the career of dance into greatness. You know, everybody's like,
Mhm.
that went through my mother. I said, you know what? I could say poetry is a way of life, and I can bring people together through that quote because I look.
Nice.
Is this taken? I haven't seen it taken. So I said,
Well,
you know
you
what?
know, it hasn't been taken, but people use that term because I would say fasting's a way of life for me. It's a
Yeah.
lifestyle. I would say purpose or spirituality, or
Mhm.
so yeah. So that's a beautiful thing. So
Yeah,
you
you can
told
feel
me a bit
it.
about
I said you can fill in any blank and put is a way of life.
100%. So you
Definitely.
told me elements about you as the creative and the artist. I'd like to know a little bit more about the soul of you, which has nothing to do with the attachments of you. Yeah, I think all the things we say we do and the podcast and the poetry and the act, it's a part of our attachments, our talents, our passions, but there's still another layer of us on a soulful perspective of who we actually are, which has nothing to do with that. So, an example, if God forbid, which will never happen, but if you couldn't touch the mic again, would you suddenly be over? There's still going to be a soul of you existing.
No, my legacy lives on. My legacy will live on.
That's
Even,
what I'm
but
saying. So, there's
yeah,
still a layer, and I like to get into a bit of the layers.
yeah. I don't, I don't feel like I was here before. I feel like I always tell everyone I feel like I was an animal in my past life. I was a panda.
Ooh. What animal? Which particular animal?
I was a panda bear.
Nice. Why a panda bear?
Because they're strong, they're soft, they like bamboo, they live in China. That's the
Mm.
part of me, and I'm just like I always identify with a panda, so when the dude
That
came out with
is so
panda,
cute.
yeah, I was
That
into it.
I like that. You see, do you see what I mean? By that little extra push, I got to hear that and I love it. I'll take that. What is your origin? Like where I mean, I hear the American accent. Was your family born in States and which part?
Yes, my mother is from Columbus, Ohio, and my father is from Honolulu.
Mm.
My father is Filipino and my mother is African American, black, melanated wonder, God, Jesus.
Mm,
That's my
mm,
mother.
mm.
So we have so many identities out here in America.
That's a nice mix.
Yeah, my mother and my father, they're both dancers, and they met each other in a dance company
Mm.
called.
That is so romantic and beautiful and poetic.
Yeah, I'm birthed from two dancers, and I became a poet because my mother's an English professor, but she moved into dance.
Oh.
Well, her mother told her she would never get nowhere with dance because she grew up. She was born in 1949, so
Mm.
degree, stayed in school, and she got her PhD in English. But eventually, after she got her PhD in English, she said, "This is not my passion. My passion is dance. It was always dance ever since she was a kid." So I come from two dancers. I ended up becoming a poet out of that. So my dad was like, make your words move. Make your words dance. So when you do your poetry, make sure you're giving a performance. And no matter where you go, always shine your wonder, and your legacy will stick with everyone you touch. Most definitely.
That's a beautiful thing. So you actually had a parent that actually encouraged, and that is so important. And not everyone has that. So you didn't kind of grow up thinking like, I'm not going to be good enough because I'm doing poetry. You actually had that. He actually, breathed life into what you loved. And I really, really love that. Thanks for sharing that. So as we're on the topic of like, origin, what was you like as a child? Tell me about the child side of you a little bit. Kind of
Oh
boy was.
yeah, I'm a child. I grew up in Oakland, California. So I grew up
Mhm.
in the gritty streets of Ivy Hill. I was born in Ivy Hill. I was born in a Victorian house.
Nice.
Not in the hospital, but I was born at the home. So I had a pretty close knit family. Me, my brother, my mother, and my dad. But they divorced, so I dealt with that trauma, and then we had to move from Oakland, California, to
Mhm.
Sacramento, which is an hour and a half north of the Bay Area. And my mom got a teaching position in the dance. She found her dream job in the dance
Mhm.
department, California State University of Sacramento. So, I was always, moving back and forth from Sacramento to the Bay Area at a young age. At the third grade, I would have a Greyhound every weekend to see my dad, and
Mhm.
he had raised me up in Kulintang, which is a Filipino ancient instrument. My mother
Mhm.
dance. My dad had a youth dance company called Young Extensions in Oakland, California. I was a part of that, but I realized like he was kind of just doing that to have a connection with me because he felt
Oh,
like,
wow.
of course, we kind of lost the connection. He got separated with his son along with the divorce. So I believe that's why he kept those institutions alive. You know, to keep
Wow.
movement. You know.
So through all that, what was you like as a child?
Oh,
Tell
me?
us a little bit about, yeah, what you were like as a little boy.
I was a quiet, artistic. I was always writing. I always wrote stories. I wanted to
Oh,
be a novelist. Loved Alice Walker. I loved Angela Davis. Angela Davis was my babysitter. I have a picture of her. I sent it to you in your thing, in your
inbox
inbox.
me.
Yeah, and Angela Davis was my babysitter. You know, I grew up with the Panthers. You know, I grew up with all this culture. I used to think Oakland was the capital of California. I didn't believe when Mom said we were moving to Sacramento. I was like, no, we live in the capital. What are you talking about? Because it was so diverse. And then when we moved to Sacramento, it was such a culture shock for me because I came from all this diversity, wonder, in the arts in the Bay Area to a kind of stoic capital. Like Sacramento wasn't what it is now. You know, it was kind of like it lacked culture, and we had to bring the culture to Sacramento. Mom, sure enough, did because she started a dance company called Sacramento Black Art of Dance, and yeah, and a lot of stuff has thrived in Sacramento ever since my mother's been there.
So,
Yeah.
as we're still on the topic of your childhood, what do you have a favorite childhood memory that is not about, yeah, about dance or even poetry? Is there something? Because I'm trying to pull elements of what you were like as a child, regardless of the thrills and the wonders that was around you. Like, what were you like? Does that make sense? And sometimes it
Yeah.
can sound like a tricky question, but it can be. For an example, if I asked Michael Jackson of all the greatness, he might have said, I sat in the cupboard and cried, which has nothing to do with the fame. You see where I'm
Yeah.
going with this? Because there's always a child, even in every adult, there's a childlike self.
Mm-hmm. As a
You
child,
know?
I'll like I dealt with a lot of trauma. I don't want to like traumatize the interview with all my trauma, but
No, 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 no.
um,
Hey, listen to the question though. Like if I
yeah,
say like, what was you like as a boy? That can
yeah,
mean anything.
yeah,
I imagine you to be because you got this like humor about you and this playful spirit that I feel and I don't even know you like that. So in my mind, I wondered what you were like as a boy. And then on the flip side, do
yeah.
you have a favorite childhood memory? Now, interestingly enough, when I've asked you that a few times, it's interesting where you've gone with it because it's we all have triggers, good or bad. You know what I mean? So you don't have to speak about anything at this point that's going to be what you think about bring the audience. This is not about the audience. This is your time.
Joyful. I was a joyful kid. I was a joyful
Right.
kid. I loved to write,
Okay.
loved to draw. I loved to dance. I lost it
Right.
because of constructs and how the society thought. So I stopped dancing when I was in junior high school. But I love that.
Okay.
I love to sing. I love movies. I always say my mom gets upset with me, and my mother's in the room right now, Dr. Goodrich. She gets upset with me because I was raised by the television, but my mother, she was working very hard. You know, she was working very hard.
Okay.
Day and night she would be working and everything. She
Mm.
would pick us up for dinner and go out to get burritos and stuff. So those were like my
Oh,
favorite
nice.
memories. Is always with my mother. My mother is God in my eyes. You know, I love
Oh,
my. You
that's
know,
so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. All right, a couple of warm-up questions. This is the part of the warm-up zone I should have said in the beginning. So I love to unlace my guest speakers before we get into the real part of the salad or the meat, as I like to say, because that way we have a nice sort of slow build up and we get comfortable. So as we're still in the warm-up zone, I'd love to ask you, if you were to invite two celebrities for dinner, who would it be and
oh,
why?
off top, it's Sweetie and Spike Lee. Off top, that's just off
Ooh,
top.
and why?
Sweetie, because I just want to tap into her mind of what it's like to be a celebrity, a Afro-Filipino celebrity. You know,
Mm-hmm.
half black and have just like me. She's like I identify with her because she's my racial sister, and I
Mm-hmm.
always wanted to marry someone that was black and Filipino like me. Just because
That's
I
a
just
that is such a delicious mix. It's beautiful. Mm.
Thank you. But
It's exotic. I think it's beautiful.
I wanted Saweetie and Spike Lee because I feel like my God is moving me into a space of film. I'm finding myself going to all these film festivals for free.
Nice.
And I know what's going on. I'm like, I can't believe it's happening because this is something
Mm-hmm.
that a deep dream of mine. But I find myself in a lot of film industry, and I've always loved cinematography. I've always
Nice.
so yeah, most definitely
Would
those
that
would
be in terms of you being a part of the production, or is that you being the man in front of the camera as the actor?
like Spike Lee in front and behind.
Oh, why limit yourself? Exactly. I love it. All right. So today we have chosen, and you have chosen the topic of identity,
Mhm.
homelessness, poetry, and the importance of manifestation. Yeah.
Yes.
So for a change, I'm gonna let you choose which one you want to go first.
Oh,
Yeah.
let's start with identity. Let's get
All
into
right. And people in between the topics, Dante is going to bless us with poetry in between the conversations. That's how I love to roll with artists. So yeah, go
okay.
ahead. So
I got home for identity, so I have a piece prepared for every
all right.
topic.
All right,
Yeah.
good. All right, so
Yeah.
you can start with a poem if you like, or we can get into the subject. The choice is yours.
I guess yeah. Yeah. Let's do a poem real quick. The name this
Go for it.
I wrote, and this poem is called Pride.
Mm.
Now, disclaimer. That's all I'm gonna say.
Mm. Go into it.
I wrote this August 26, 2022. I love when motherfuckers try to read me.
Mm.
Like peep my cover out like they know my story. Like I'm slipping, falling, and can't get up. DMX me out the crowd like I'm Waldo.
Mm.
Like I'm some super hoe selling myself short, slutting my life out nasty like the groceries and eggplants and macadamia nuts that get swallowed and consumed, fucking up your facial muscles and shit.
Mm.
I love when they throw trees, mighty as the redwoods in California, giving me a natural shade against the blazing sun that lost its protection from the ozone, protecting me with organic air conditioning. Yeah, I love that shit. I love when the hyper hoteps speak of my existence like how white devils once spoke of melanated gods. The tradition carries on. I love when people keep a mindset that they are on top of the totem pole, head of the phallus, red eyes to your Washington monument, and all seeing eye like we don't see you from below. Catfish we be like crab crustaceans that they eat and get charged a seasonal fee. I love that. Boom, bye, bye, and a batty boy, yeah. Look how they
Mm-mm.
pride. Look how they erase the rainbow. Look how they slit the throats of a transsexual they let suck they dick down low in the alley. Hand on
Mm.
ripping plastic natty cankalon tresses to expose themselves happy in a moment of bliss. They paid for. They invested in. They hate themselves. Oppressed in dividends they can't understand. If you believe in relationships to be one way, you put a boundary up against this poem already. And all you can hear
Mm.
of my words and not its context. Don't let get lost in the message. Peep the cadence. Your fragrance, cologne, and perfume smell like sewage, like cesspool, like shit, doo doo, like the boo boo. You get wrapped in your mind that nasty brothers eat for din din, like the Nigerians foo foo. You have no clue what ninjas do. All you wanted and worried about is some ninja that will never F you because all
Mm.
you see is yourself in junction with a plastic Israelite that wishes death upon a construction that has nothing to do with your values. Refocus. How you gonna speak love and murder in the same sentence? May your children become the faggots you despise.
Mm.
May you be blessed with the hand of God written in all capital letters. May you beat every bit of homosexual out of them because the God you didn't approve of their unnatural way. May you commit their suicide and find yourself to be killer, to be raided by the cops and beat down like Rodney King as the rainbow children film you from the bushes, from their smartphones, subtly giggling as you get beat to a pulp like Emmett Till. And may you never get justice for your murder because you never came out and showed solidarity with them. Nobody will protect you. You will just be another ninja that lost their lives, all in the name of a God you never knew. Love is love. Pride.
Whew. Wait. Yeah. I'm gonna need this. Wow. Did I ask what inspired that piece?
A conversation with my mother, and I was trying to explain to her about my identity. And
We're gonna get into it. Mm-hmm.
yeah, and she was saying she thought my identity was my sexuality. I said, no, this is my identity. When you see my pronouns, I put he, him, thon. Thon means that one. Thon is my identity. Like someone were to put trans, that's who they identify as. It may not be their sexuality. They may be straight and trans, you know, whatever that means, you know. But for me, I identify with thon. And I want to push this forward because it's a forgotten pronoun. I believe my was Dawn. I believe my mother is Dawn. You know, I believe a lot of people in my life are Dawn. Some people are just meant to be by themselves, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they have to be by themselves.
So elaborate for us
Yeah.
what Dawn actually really means.
Well, for me personally, Dawn means to be comfortable in your own skin. You know, to love yourself first. Love yourself. You would love and cherish your wife. You
But
know?
what does it mean dictionary-wise? When you say you personally, like, what does it actually mean?
Oh, yeah, it's a
That's
forgotten
what I should really say.
That one, period. That one.
I like that then. Then maybe I have to call myself that.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. So you're saying that it doesn't connect to necessarily sexuality, it's more identity.
It's identity. Identity. I'm that one. When you walk, it's like walking around with a big girl's confidence. You know, I'm that one. I'm the shit. You know, I have so many friends that are like that.
I
Like,
love it. I love that. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Head high, like I'm royal. You know, but but I can bring myself down to the level. I don't have my ego is not there. I'm centered in Dawn. being that one. I'm not above anybody. I'm not below anybody. That's very important to say that because I know there are probably people that probably will take on that identity and not focus on. You got to center yourself though too if you're going to be that one. You know, you have to humble yourself to listen to others and to love on others in a righteous way. And it didn't. It took here. It took me 40 years to get to this acceptance of this identity, and I'm liking where I'm at. I'm liking where I'm sitting at right now. Most definitely.
So okay, you got the you're comfortable in the space of Dawn. So may we explore, for as long as you desire, what is your sexuality?
My sexuality.
That's identity. What is your sexuality?
My sexuality is my business.
Can you really? I mean, no, because well, yeah, it's your business. But when you bring up identity, and hear me out. Hear me out. When you bring up identity, and the subject that you bring up, and you know it's related to sexuality, then you already know from even our prior conversation it's going to come up.
Yeah, I know that, and that's why I wanted to speak on that. That's why I wanted this. This was important to me to speak identity.
If you wanted to be like all confidential, you wouldn't be putting that poem on blast and speaking about identity. So let's get into it.
If I'm saying it's my business, you like you already know. So if I'm saying that, you feel me? So. And I feel like our sexuality is personal. It doesn't like I don't come from a culture like my grandmother was like, couth is a big word that I grew up with. You know,
Okay.
so, like you have no couth if you speak. Like I
Yeah,
don't
we say uncouth, like the same thing, isn't
uncouth.
it?
Uncouth.
Mm.
Yeah, there it goes.
It's
Uncouth.
okay.
It's uncouth of me to
Mm-hmm.
speak about my sexuality on a platform like this. So
Mm-hmm.
that's my grandmother speaking, just coming into my head. Because honestly, that's for who I'm with, and I don't really want to fuck with
Mm-hmm.
nobody. I really
Mm-hmm.
am fucking with myself, and that's the whole
So
thorn.
you're saying
Like,
thorn is about identity. Does it or does it not reflect intersexuality?
I think it's separate. It's separate.
You believe it's separate.
Yeah,
Okay.
identity and sexuality is separate.
Oh yeah, the word is separate, but as
Yeah,
you said, a lot of that gets tied in, and
yeah.
that's why the whole he, her, this, that. I mean,
Mhm,
I just say her. It doesn't mean anything. Obviously, I'm heterosexual, but it's interesting. It's
mhm.
interesting. I think that sometimes you can look at somebody and tell. Sometimes you cannot, and we prejudge, and it's not always that way. But okay,
Yeah,
fair enough.
I
If
mean,
that's yeah.
the whole pronoun thing is just it's really all that boils down to for everyone out there that's watching this
Mm-hmm.
video. It's respect. Is respect
Mm-hmm.
where people want to be identified out, how they want to be called, his or her. Because I go in the rooms, I think it's a her, and their pronouns is his. So I have to, tune my own. I can't just go off what I say because I want to respect them. It's just a sign of respect. That's all. It's a
A
sign of.
100%. So we're okay. So the inspiration behind the poem, you said your mother.
Mm-hmm,
So if you listen to the poem, I think a million other people, when they watch the playback, would be like, well, where did that come from? That's
mm-hmm.
where the question of sexuality came from.
Yes.
There's
Mm-hmm.
there's a big message in that poem, but the bit that stood out to me was something about I hope that the hope that you know what that you despise your son becomes or whatever. And I was like, whoa! I wonder. There's a message in that. So that's
Yeah.
why the question would be asked. Well, where did there was such passion in that piece? You're a very
Yeah.
good writer. So much passion in that piece. So was that there? Is that the part? Is that how far you want to go in a
Oh no,
conversation of
no, no, no.
identity?
Speak on it. We can speak on it. You said, "May your children become the faggots you despise."
Yeah.
There are a lot of I recently got it. Shit. I got a lot of people in my family that have this toxic way of thinking. We'll put it like that. And that's
Okay.
they don't respect pronouns. They don't respect people's identities. You think it's
Mm-hmm.
certain way they're stuck in this old mindset of thinking, which is a very 1950s mindset and is not moving forward. I feel like if we get to
Mm-hmm.
a we move forward, then we can experience the piece that where we need to go. You
Let
know.
me let me ask you a question on that note. Of a good point you just made about respect.
Mm-hmm,
If there's one thing that I've learned in my older age, yeah, is that my morality and my personal standards and acceptance and understanding doesn't have to be everybody else's.
mm-hmm,
And I feel like as another fellow human, we often say things like, he don't understand and she don't understand. And partners and even friends will fall out because they didn't understand. And now I say to people, you are aware that we was not tailor-made to understand each other like that. You are aware that your best friend, your daughter, your mother, your father may never understand, although they gave birth to you. They wasn't tailor-made to accept everything in you. It's for you to accept you. That's
exactly.
the most painful
Yeah.
part because no, that is, I mean, let's be honest, it can be painful because no matter how old we are, that hug, that I accept, that
Mm-hmm.
I understand goes a long way. But the truth is, everyone's still trying to understand their damn self, no matter how old they get.
You're right.
That's the painful truth that so when we talk about respecting people's pronouns, they don't have to.
They don't. They don't. But it's like you said. It's important that the person that
Mm,
identify with accepts it. And as long as I know I'm he, I'm him, I'm Dawn, I'm gonna walk in my truth. You know,
absolutely.
you are
Absolutely.
her, she, and whatever you else would you identify with.
Mhm.
Identity or sexuality. You walk in your truth. And you carry your boundaries too. You walk tall with your
Yeah.
boundaries. You don't have to let
Hmm.
in your life. You know,
Hmm.
so that's important. That's one thing my mother did teach me, and I always respect that about my mother. Have boundaries. You
Oh
don't
my
have
God, yes,
you don't have
yes.
everything about yourself. I'm not walking around naked with my wee wee out and you feel me, and just like give it to me up, you know. But there are people that do that. I'm not built.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have that barcode. They have that barcode, and I still respect them because I respect all the people that can get naked on the screen. And for my
You're
I,
gonna be an actor, boo boo. You might get that wee wee out. Yeah.
exactly. If you got the tools, use it. You feel me? So I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying, like, there's people, there's women that are stacked. You know, there's brothers that are young. You know, I'm just saying, if you got it, use it to the best of your advantage. The sex
Mm-hmm.
sells. I mean, the sex will get you views. I see that. It's very hard being a poet.
Mm-hmm.
Hurts though, because when you know you're a poet and you have talent, the poet,
Mm-hmm.
we don't get like that. I have to really get into your head for you to feel me and respect me, and
Mm-hmm.
I have to reach out to an audience that doesn't read anymore.
Exactly that. But you know what? I think that we all, it's interesting you should say that. It's facts. Some people like to hear, okay, this is me, an example. There are super celebrities that I don't like to see. I like to switch them off visually and hear them. I don't enjoy watching. They're awkward or they don't like, they just, some people, they're not visual. Then you have people that you are mesmerized by watching them. Whether they are tall, short, in a wheelchair or not, you are mesmerized. So some things are visual, some things are feel, some things are hearing. And so, yeah, we're not really in a time where we're playing CDs anymore or, reading as much books as we did. But I don't know. I think that you're very captivating myself.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. And you too, as an
You
interview.
know?
Like I saw. I didn't even watch your videos. I just
Mhm.
felt your aura because you look like someone of my tribe. You remind me of Biomi, and that was one of my mother's good friends,
Oh,
and her
nice.
and I grew up with her as a kid, and I just saw that your aura stood out. And the video that you made a couple of videos for some people that are on my open that come through to my open mics, and I
Hmm.
like the work she does, and I want to be on this platform, so
Nice.
definitely.
No,
I,
but this is actually this to turn to the audience for a moment. This is actually more chit chat with Silva. For those who don't know, my name is Silva. There's a lot of strategic and very stiff interviews I could do. This is more chit chat, like me and you just bugging out. Yeah. So
yeah.
this is the style. This is the style we're doing it today. All right. So what in regards to your friendships, like your friendship and your association groups, we're still talking about identity and identifying. Do you find that your peers relate to what you're saying and relate to where you're at? Or are you the man that's like, no one understands me, no one accepts me, I accept me and I am my tribe? Where are you at with all of this?
Personally, I just want to express like the probably the most antisocial social person you'll ever meet.
No, what?
And I am
You?
loving this whole virtual world because it's giving me an opportunity to speak to people from my room. This is my this is
Wow.
a Cancer. I'm a Cancer zodiac sign moving into Leo.
Nice.
I'm on the cusp of oscillation. So I'm a Cancer Leo, July 21st. So I'm a homebody. I love family. I love family. I love community. So I love
Mhm.
people together. I get that from my mother. And my mom,
But
she
what
said it's
makes you antisocial though? See, there's a difference between like I'm a popular loner. That even makes sense. I made that up shit. That should put a stamp on that one. Yeah, I'm a popular loner. Okay, and it's a weird one. I came up with that because I'm always like, I've got a date with my bathroom and my bubble bath. I'm twisting my locks. So I've literally, yeah, I've got a hot date tonight. It's in my bubble bath. It's got herbs in it and shit and diamonds and rocks and crystals in my bath. And listen, I've got a hot date tonight.
I'm with it. I'm right there with
Yeah. So I can be a bit like that too. On the flip side, I love meeting new people. I love conversing with new people. I love doing this. I love soul connecting. I love unlayering people like onions, and I love it. But on the flip side, when you say you love family though and community, that tells me that you are a people's man. You are a people's person too. So the anti-social, where does that really come from?
you. Where
Have you had experiences that's made you feel like I don't really want to be around folk like that? What is it?
School in America is traumatizing.
I knew it was something because your personality is fire. I've seen you.
Yo,
You know.
I went to public school in the '90s, and I always tell
Mm.
people that's like Michelle Pfeiffer, Dangerous Minds.
Ooh, come on now.
I didn't go to these charter schools, so school for me was a little traumatizing.
Mm.
That whole social thing, especially moving from Oakland to Sacramento,
Mm.
because I came from a very diverse culture to being like one of the only three black kids in the class, and I came with
Was that what it was? Was it a cultural or racial thing that was that what all it was
yeah,
in terms of your trauma?
race matters here in America. Race is prevalent, and it
Oh my
shows.
God, yeah.
The racist history here, you deal with that. Like I was telling my mother the other day, there's very few teachers that I remember their names, and the only reason why I remember certain teachers' names is because they put love on me, and it's sad that
Oh.
teachers.
Mm.
Oh, I know white people that can name every one of their teachers from kindergarten all the way up to high school, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and really it's just and just the whole social construct of school being the mixed kid, not really the blacks not feeling you, and the whites just what the fuck are you dealing with that shit. But I really had to literally find my community and dig and find my community, and I
That's
still kind of
interesting.
once we graduated, it was kind of over. It was a wrap. We all
In states, I'm quite surprised. That surprises me so much.
Well, and that's I lived in
Mm.
California. Just because you have
Mm.
diverse, you have a diverse state. People still identify. Like if you go to a high school where I was at, there's a book called "Why Do All the Black Kids Sit at the Same Table at the Cafeteria Table?" We do that.
Wow,
So true, and they teach that book in like sociology class in college.
really?
Because I remember I used to sell books. I'm a book dealer. I used to sell books on the streets. Yeah, I'm a book dealer. So I remember I giving that book to somebody that needed it for the sociology class and getting top dollar.
Nice.
Yeah.
You are. There's many layers to you.
Oh
So
yeah.
tell me.
I got a story to tell. I tell you, and that's what I'm saying. I think it's supposed to be made into a movie, and that's the reason why I'm being placed in all these settings of film. But that was that has been my dream since I was a kid to get
But
into
I
film.
do see it though.
Yeah, I have a very
I do see it. It's not like sometimes people speak and you're like, really?
hmm
I actually see it. So I really encourage you to actually pursue what you feel is calling you right now.
hmm
I'd like you to share a little bit with us in regards to how you um, how you became to be homeless and what happened then.
mm.
If you don't
Homelessness.
mind sharing with us. Let's talk a bit about homelessness.
I moved across country. Um,
Mhm.
After high school, I went to Alabama A&M University. That's a historically black college in Normal, Alabama,
Mhm.
Huntsville. And I wanted to get into fashion design because that was like the early 2000s. We were kind of leaving the late 90s, and everybody had a fashion design label. Russell Simmons, Sean Diddy.
Yeah.
So my whole
Mhm.
vision I wanted to do hip hop fashions with an African touch because I just got back from Africa. I went to Africa in 1999. When I got back from Africa, that was my junior
What part did you go to?
Ghana, West Africa.
Oh, I can't wait to go there. And Gambia, I can't wait.
Yeah,
Nice.
yes, and my sister, she's from the Gambia. Um,
Mm.
um, so coming back to America from Africa, that was traumatic. I fell into my first depression, the beginning of my senior year in high school, and I couldn't function. I couldn't.
Can we get into the trigger? What was the catalyst for that? You said on
Also,
the way back from Africa, what happened? What took place?
the shock of all the Africans. Imagine seeing Africans in community, love a city of African people, and then coming to America, Sacramento, which is a majority white city.
Wow.
You know? I remember going to the mall and I was looking around at the mall, seeing all these white people. Like, I live in Babylon. And I remember I posted. My mom thought I was crazy. I put it on the front of the door one time. I said, "This is Babylon." I lost my mind. Coming back,
Really?
I lost my.
Did you actually feel for real you had a snap moment where
I, I,
psychologically you went in? Where did you go?
it reminds me of Tracy. Yeah, I went into depression. I went to my first depression. I went
Mm.
dark space. I couldn't leave my room. You could ask my mother; she's here. I would. It was very hard. I couldn't speak. I had a girlfriend at the time. The
Mm-hmm.
relationship fell apart. It's just I was in a very sad space. I remember every song that came on the videos because we used to have videos. Maya was moving on was out around that time. That one song by Left Eye and that you know what's up, girl, you know what's up. I remember every song because I was in my room sad, and it's like, why can't I experience that kind of joy? I lost this joy because I left all my joy in Africa.
Mm.
And,
It's okay, Baba. Take a breath. This is the part where I enjoy the most. We get into some real layers.
yeah,
So you take a breath, because that's real. That's poetry. That's poetry. You see, that's deep right there. That's an ancestral feeling you're feeling right now. Don't worry, Baba. Take a breath. That's a beautiful thing.
I left all my joy in Africa, and I could not bring it. I didn't even want to come back. You could ask my mother, like, when I got on the plane, I said, I don't want to get on this plane. I don't want to come back home. And she's like, better get your ass on that plane, boy.
Don't let me laugh. I'm in the middle of crying with you.
Your ass on
Oh
that.
my God.
And I did not want to
Mm.
come back home. It was just such a beautiful experience. It still sticks with me to this day because I remember all the joy that I felt when I went.
Mm.
And I stayed. I was like
How long did you spend in Africa?
5 weeks.
Ooh, that's a nice amount of time.
My whole summer, yeah, was out there. I
So
told you,
other than exploring and seeing the community vibes and the love and the unity that you say you experienced in Africa, what transition, what impact did it have on you? Before you came back and it was like, oh my God, I can't be in America, not after this experience. What experiences did you have in Africa while you were out there that impacted you so hard and so deeply?
it was poetry in motion everywhere we went.
Mm,
I was
mm,
listening to roots. Like I said, I'm a cancer, so we identify everything with music. I remember
mm,
I had that playing the whole time I was there. Things Fall Apart. That album came out.
mm.
And I just remember just driving. We were in Accra, driving to Kumasi, the capital, driving
Nice,
to Pelaye.
nice.
Difference of the beauty of the cities, the people, the culture, the community. It's
Mm,
supposed to be there, and it's like coming back to America was not here.
mm,
Family, we didn't have that sense of family here, yo.
mm. I can't wait to go there. When I went to Cape Verde, which is in Africa, and when I went there, I was a little underwhelmed at first, but I was so caught in my Westernism, and it took me a couple of days. Then I didn't want to come back either. So five weeks in Ghana, where I long to visit, in Gambia, I can only imagine. Can only imagine.
It was
What
it
was
was it was such a beautiful experience. It's just like I don't understand. People know the impact that experience has had on me, but it really changed my life. But it made me
mm,
move into my destiny, and to move into my destiny personally, that's not an easy task to do.
mm,
To be true to who I am personally, it's not easy
mm.
for me to do. I wanted to show you this, but see, I just found this today. This was the group that went to Africa. So that's me in the beanie in the back, and this is all the group. Yeah, and everybody is kind of has been doing great things with their lives, and I feel like I'm the last one, to
Mm.
light shine out of that whole entire group. You
It's
know,
okay. How young were you when you went to Africa?
I was 16 and I turned 17 when I was there. Yeah,
Mm.
I had my 17th birthday in Tamale, in it was a forest. We were in like what's
I
it
love
called?
forests.
Safari. You saw elephants.
Mm.
They had
Wow.
Mole. I think it was called Mole National Park. I spent my
Are
17th
you
birthday.
are you longing to go back there, or have you found an element of comfortability and content or peace where you are?
I'm going back there in December.
Right.
Going back in December. If you can see, right, I'm planning these trips right now. Belize, Ghana,
And
Cape.
maybe we go and do a live while you're out there when you get back and let me know what happened. That'd be amazing. To catch
Yes,
up with you on your journey. That would be amazing.
yes.
Wow. Okay, so talk to me. So you came back to London, and we're still on the top of the part of our subject now of homelessness.
Mhm.
Um, you came back to London and you had this shock of, oh my God, I've come from Africa back to, did I say London? No, America. London?
Sacramento. It was
Get out
Sacramento.
your head, girl. Get out your head. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, came back to home,
Hmm.
technically America. Carry on from there, because I like to unlayer like how you became homeless and what happened and what took place next.
Well, California. I went to Alabama A&M University, and I visited. There was at the second semester I was at Alabama A&M. We visited New York for a fashion study tour, and I fell in love with New York.
Mhm.
My girlfriend was in New York at the time, and her best friend was in preparation to move out there. They were Ailey dancers. They were training with the Alvin Ailey Dance Company. So
Mhm.
after my first year of college, I came back to Sacramento, saved up money and everything, and I moved to New York because
Mhm.
Alabama A&M wasn't where I didn't want to live that. I didn't want to live a country life. I felt
Mhm.
myself too comfortable down south, and actually I'm currently down south. I'm in Mississippi.
Okay.
So so when I went to New York, when I got to New York, I experienced homelessness after 2 weeks of being in New York. This was before I think they aged out. I stayed at I came out there to go to school to the Catherine Gibbs School, which is one of these for-profit colleges for graphic design. And they got me out there, but they didn't have no way of like, no room and board and everything. They had us in
Wow.
I guess they would be considered Airbnbs now, but they were like janky Airbnbs that fell apart, that fell through.
Oh, wow.
That made me homeless after the second week of being in New York City. I
So
didn't
you
want
wasn't you didn't do the research or was prepared for what was going to potentially
to.
be or
I just wanted to get to New York. I was young. I was in my 20s. I didn't
yeah.
want to. You couldn't tell me nothing. My ex girlfriend was out there at the time, and though that was my close in high school. It was my ex girlfriend, and her friend Nakima, and we were like a trio.
Oh.
So like I wanted to get out there. Those were my closest friends in high school. I wanted
Mhm.
to get to New York. So I did get out there, but I didn't want to leave though. We all had a struggle. You have to struggle if you live in New York. So I dealt with homelessness when I think I was 19 when I moved to New York City. I moved into the Covenant House shelter, which takes care of teens. But then I ate
Mhm.
that. When I was in the shelter, I was screaming at the school that brought me over there, recruited me to come there, the Captain Gibbs School, which is not in business anymore. Um, I was screaming to the council. I was like, I ain't got no place. You got me in a shelter. You got me all the way out here. I'm homeless.
Crazy.
So what they did was they made a way for me to get loans
Oh,
to
wow.
pay for a room at the Harlem YMCA on the 11th floor. But those loans created debt for me. And I don't know if you know about student debt in America.
Not
Like
in America, but yeah.
it blew up out of the hand to the point like it's crazy. Like I don't even want to talk about that. But just imagine I'm dealing with that kind of debt. You know,
Wow.
that kind of debt can make someone commit suicide out here.
Oh, sure.
No, I'm serious, and that's why there's laws. There's laws that are trying to be enacted right now that's kind of alleviating the debt, college debt for Americans, because it's out of hand.
Wow.
Out of hand. It's out of hand out here.
Really?
School should not be like
Wow.
that. School should be free. I believe. I come from
Oh
that.
my God, yeah, absolutely.
So we should
So
not be charging all
they
these things.
placed you in a shelter and then you then got a temporary accommodation on the 11th floor or something you just said. Yeah?
Well, I was at the Harlem YMCA, but they were paying. They were taking out loans to pay for the Harlem
Yeah.
YMCA, and I
So
still
how
had.
long were you there for?
Hmm?
How
Oh, I
long were
was
you
there
in this?
for about a year, and then I came back home. But I couldn't. Once I had a taste of New York, it's a wrap. I just kept going back to New York because I started realizing I went through the homeless system. I knew what it was like, and New York homeless they take care of their homeless in a different way than other states in America take care of their homeless. Because if you don't take care of your homeless in New York, your homeless will die on these streets. You're dealing with harsh
Wow.
winters. You're dealing with every kind of season. That's why New York is a fashion capital because everybody has to dress for the seasons. Not
Mm.
California is not like that. We just
Mhm.
dress funny all the time. But New York, you have to be stylish, and everybody's living on top of each other, and then
Yeah.
everybody, all kind of social economical classes are living right next to each other too. You know, so you got a project down one block, you got a high class, high end apartment right across the street from that, and with 15 Starbucks on the bottom and a bodega. You know, that's
Mm.
New York for you. You know,
So when you say you were homeless, though, did you ever sleep rough or couch surf or go through any of those dynamics?
I was in shelters. I was in shelters.
Mhm.
I've been on the streets before. I lived in my car. Everyone that knows me in California, because I've dealt with homelessness in California, they know me from living in my car. Black Uber, I called it though, because I would give everyone rides. I had a hashtag Black Uber service. I
Mhm.
couldn't lift because my license was suspended. So I was driving illegally, driving everywhere,
Mhm.
make money off of my own hashtag called Black Uber, and that's actually a chapbook that I have never released out, but I will release in the future, most definitely.
I'd like to say, what I love and respect about individuals that are born and raised in America? They have this, when they have a fixation on a dream, all of the I can'ts doesn't exist. It's like there are so many stories from television to reality that people's like, I want to live in Hollywood, or it's in New York, or I wanted to go to Florida, or I wanted to go to Miami, and they haven't thought about the plan A, B, C, D. There's literally all of that goes out the window. The passion and commitment and the grind, and in the end, I think most of you will actually get there. There's so much determination that I don't really see out here that it blows my mind.
Well, that's why we celebrate Martin Luther King Jr. out here, because
Amazing.
he had a dream, and through his dream, we have dreams too, and
Mm-hmm.
we try to come. We know how life is short, through his,
Mm-hmm.
Malcolm X. You only have a certain amount of time, and it's very
Mm-hmm.
shine. So you might as well shine, because
A
they'll tell
100%. But I
out
mean,
here.
in terms of the struggle, in terms of, you know, I'm not, I mean, I'm sure there's going to be someone somewhere out here, but you don't really hear this. There's always the stories that we tend to be captivated on in UK is always, did you hear about this person that lived in America? It's a lot of that. There are stories out here, but I find there's a lot more in States, whether it's Steve Harvey's story or Oprah's story, or there's so many stories, and Fantasia's story, and literally, or someone that went to X Factor 10 times and refused to accept the word no, then they won the 13th time. There's
Our,
so much determination. Like, where do you think that comes from?
I mean, I think that's it. That's our freedom out here. That's the freedom we speak of
Mm,
in America, because you can't
mm,
like that if you don't get stuck in these constructs,
mm.
in institutions. You can have anybody can experience that kind of freedom. It's that pursuit of happiness. You
But it's
know,
about freedom, yes. Let me interject, my bad. But in terms of, it's more known by far for Americans to actually go through the struggle. And I slept in the basement and I slept here, and then 10 years later, I'm a superstar. Over
yeah,
here, it's more of, oh, hell no, it's too cold. I'm just going to, no.
our
There's
stories.
a lot less people willing to actually struggle to get to do all that,
Yes,
or wanting to struggle. We ain't going to do it.
our stories are currency, though. Understand that our
It's
stories are.
amazing.
If they're not our currency, we wouldn't have Hollywood. We make movies out here. So it is our duty to live our best life and live the greatest story that we can possibly
Mhm.
live. But not everyone's story is the same. Everybody's unique. Like,
Yeah. Mhm.
it's just depend, and not everyone's story gets told. You know,
Exactly that. So how did you end up getting out of that situation from the shelters, and what happened next for you to where you are now in terms of the whole homeless journey?
I'm still on the journey. I still consider myself.
Mhm.
This is not where I'm at right now. This is not my home. This is
Mhm.
my mother's home, and I'm not. And tomorrow I'm leaving to go to DC, and then I'm going back to New York, and I'm about to take care of my 20-year-old self and put some love on my 20-year-old self and walk in.
Oh, you're a papa.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
my mother,
Mhm.
she's going on vacation too, but Right now, I'm 40. I just turned 40 this year. I just turned 40 July 21st. I'm in
Mm-hmm.
a phase of my life, and I am not playing. I'm going to.
Absolutely.
It's my duty to live in my destiny right now. I cannot work for Starbucks anymore. I used to work for Starbucks when I was in New York when I was homeless.
Mhm.
And that's what got me my apartment though.
That's
That got,
great. That's great.
because in the shelter you have to have a job in order to move up to graduate to an apartment. I want to graduate to an apartment because mind you, New York rents are crazy. So if you're coming from the shelter,
Really?
yeah, ooh, don't let's not talk about Bay Area rents where I'm originally from. That's even more ridiculous. But and gentrification, that's a whole nother story. But yeah, you graduate from the shelter system into a better apartment. You have to take the apartment that you get that they offer you, or you have to go through
Mhm.
the system again. But you're gonna be paying
It's
a
like
lot.
over there. Yeah, you accept it or you miss out.
Yeah, you're gonna be paying a lot less than the average New Yorker. Put it like that. If you
That's
go through.
amazing. So you're
But
still going through the secrets of this journey of trying to get that through this, yeah, this
I
avenue.
I'm not living. I don't want to live through that trauma anymore, though, because I didn't
Mhm.
realize going through the shelter system was a lot of trauma. That it's a year program. To get through the system. I tried it in California. I couldn't do it a third time. I did it 2 times in New York, though. So that means I gave up a year of my life, which is kind of like voluntarily going to prison
Mhm.
because you have to meet curfews to go to these shelters, and you
But
can't.
okay, so if you've been through it before, were there no sticking with that process so you can actually get an apartment in the end and have them maintain that?
Yeah, you get it, but then is you got to mind you, you're living in New York City. Not everybody's going to be able to afford those rents after they cut the subsidies off, because they do that. They'll give you a subsidy for a certain amount of time, and you have to
Mhm.
meet that subsidy. But once they cut those subsidies off, I've seen so many people drop and go right back into the system and circle right back around. I held on to
Mm.
the apartment for 7 years until I
Mm.
quit my job, and then I ended up back on the streets again, and that was my second time around in the shelter system. The
So
first
what,
time,
may I ask, because we're over here, they do look at, the self-infliction or the person made themselves homeless or the person made themselves jobless. Did they ever question or, the fact that, well, you quit your job and what the motive for that was, and then it led into homelessness?
no, well, I mean, you have to be out on the streets though. Like I held on to my apartment for as long as I could after I quit my job. And I was looking for work too, and I made ends meet on the trains. I was doing poetry because I was a
Oh,
subway poet.
wow.
I am a subway poet. I'm a street poet. So I was making ends meet. I was making my rent from the streets. I was hustling. My job transferred to hustling, but hustling don't count. You can't prove hustling. You can't prove
That's
hustling.
amazing. Mm.
$1,000 hustling, but how the hell I'm gonna prove it? Especially if I'm not putting it in the bank. You know.
Oh, 100%, and not getting taxes on it and that kind of
That
stuff. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
and the funny thing about it, when I was hustling, I was able to put food in my fridge. When I was working and getting taxed out everything, I could never keep food in my fridge. So it was like certain benefits that I had, but then you realize, this ain't right, because while I was hustling, when I started making money on the train doing my poetry, I was also getting attacked by the cops too. You know,
Wow.
arrest me. I didn't know some cops were good, would give me tips, and then other
Of
cops would have a
course.
bad day and they would beat my ass and take me into jail, yo. And I've had
So you have experienced the brutality of
yeah,
police.
the
Wow.
Nostrand Avenue. It's a poem that I have. Sadly, I don't have that one prepared for you, but yeah, that's a deep poem. If you ever hear that, the virtue of Nostrand Avenue, and it's a book. It's going to be in a book that I have coming out called Revolutionary Moon, and those are all the subway poems. About 100
That's a
subway.
beautiful, that's such a hard title. I love it. That's
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah, because
So
it
would you
happened.
like to go into your next poem?
Oh yeah, well, I wrote a poem for y'all. This is a poem I wrote today, and this poem is called "To Truth."
Hmm.
And, I wrote this poem with the 528 hertz love frequency, and you can get it on YouTube. And you say you like to take baths. Play those frequencies, those sound healing frequencies when you're taking a bath.
Nice.
It's so
Nice.
nice and healing. So
Mm.
my community is telling me to live in my truth. So there I must go.
Mm.
My truth ain't from here. My truth is embedded within the universe, made with the same ingredients as black holes and black stars, finding independence first. My truth is glory's ascension, a revolution's dimension full of answers and questions that craft wonder. My truth is me stepping into the shoes of a master teacher that sleeps to regenerate my soul. In the dew of morning, I wake up and give gratitude to the day. Because my truth seeks happiness in her way. And it is my pursuit to live in my truth, accepting every bit of iridescence in my life. My life, my life, my life, my life, in the sunshine. In the moonlight, I shine, charge up like crystals do. In a full moon, I center my life to be one with you. Humans, animals, nature, it's all God to me. Like how in Ghana they be saying J Nami, one God, one love, and I am love, so it is what it is. Forgive me if I ever brought you tension. I tend to move to the grooves of precision, and I understand phenomenons ain't everyone's cup of tea. So some drink Lipton orange pioki, as I am a mix of hibiscus and dragonwell green tea. Hear your heart to listen with a loving ear, to communicate with the intention to extract your love, cook it up in a concoction that is easy to toke. This love is that kind of desire. Ra, stay shining in the clouds where I'm from. And when that energy breaks through, the divinity comes for all of you, infecting upon inflection as a twinkle beams like a halo's dream to be placed on the heads like crown. Like royals bound for excellence, we represent a lineage of struggle. Darkness was discovered here when we were floating in our mother's womb. My mother is a child of Oshun. So I come from where rivers bloom. And I will baptize my plight in the Nile, the Amazon, the Mississippi, Yangtze, Yellow, Congo, Ganges, Volga, Orinoco, Rio Grande, and Zambezi, and all waters that keep me connected to my calling. For I am divine in human form, the sweet dream of waterfalls.
I absolutely love that. I'm going to give you a heart right now in the inbox because you're very good at metaphors.
Thank you. I wrote that piece today, 8:31.
Did you?
Yeah, that was for today.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing. Wow. Take a breath right now for me, honey, while I wave at some people and give you a love heart in the inbox. That was a lovely poem. Hi, guys, for those of you that's still with us. You stay so quiet and still. Yeah. Sometimes some lives are so captivating. People are just in the inbox. There's a few love hearts going on there. Okay, I'm just going to send some waves back to those who's on the live and who has come and maybe passed through. That was a lovely, lovely, lovely poem. What inspired that abundance of punchlines and metaphors? I really like that piece.
The funny thing that inspired it, this poem was supposed to be about homelessness. So I was like, I'm going to write the homelessness poem. And I turned on the frequency because I had a headache this morning. So I turned on the 528 hertz frequency, and I just wrote that down.
You are tuned in from you saying that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I wrote this piece to the love frequency, and this is just what came out of that. But it was my whole mission was to write about homelessness. And it's funny that we just talked about it and I moved into this piece because that wasn't planned. But yeah, that's called To Truth. The name of that poem is called To Truth.
That is beautiful. We got a couple of love hearts here, and I'm going to have to put my glasses on to actually see what's happening. Let's see. Let me get my 2020 vision on, girl.
My mother.
Is mommy here? Is mommy on the live still?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Linda Goodrich.
Hello, mother.
Yeah, that's my mother.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Mm, let's see. We have V Skies. Yes, thank you for sharing. Love, Dante. We have. Mm,
Hey, ma.
which one is Ma?
Said hi.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to scroll down to see the previous comments. Sometimes where we've gone, away in the conversations and I look back on the comments, unfortunately, it would have been relating to a different part of where we're at now.
Mhm.
Yeah. So sorry about that, guys. Yeah. Ah, oopsies on. Hello, Fifi. Introverted, extrovert. When we was talking about a popular loner, you being, someone else said that they were introvert, extrovert. I never understood it, but I get it now after years of experience and different personalities.
Yes,
Um,
you got me looking
mm,
at the comment section now too. I'm like, okay, well, a lot of people was talking. Okay,
well, you know what? In that case, give your people a shout out.
yeah.
Today, guys, low key, I'm suffering with a headache, so I'm a lot more quiet today, so forgive me. Okay, let me see. Let me send some hearts out. Thank you guys for everyone that's joined us. Okay, so let's get into your mantras and your passion of manifestation and where that comes from within you. At the moment, we know that there are multiple subjects that are popular trends,
Mhm.
and this is a positive popular trend. However, there's always a disclaimer of how much people really believe they can really manifest. So before I get into my opinions on that, tell me where you're coming from. How
Um,
powerful is your manifestation grip on bringing things into your existence?
you see that I have a boundary that I'm traveling right now. You know,
Mm,
my boundary is to travel through
me
my.
too.
I want to go all over the world,
Me
and
too, for sure.
like manifestation is going to help me get there. I just came from Cuba. Um,
Nice. I want to
yeah,
go there. That's on my bucket
so,
list as well.
so divine. It's such a beautiful place. It's like walking in a museum. I tell you.
Wow, really?
Yes, it's especially when you're in
Wow.
Havana. Havana is just such a vibe. It's like it's a PowerPoint. It's I love Cuba, and I have no issues saying that America, you need to mend your relationships with Cuba. It just doesn't make sense, but it does though.
Nice.
See the big picture, and the history is like, okay, I get it. It just wakes you up. It opens your eyes to a lot of things. But I love Cuba. I love traveling, and with me moving into a more a nomad gypsy type of person that's
Love it. Love
moving
it.
up the world, I have to manifest things. It's imperative that I manifest things. It's imperative that I come through with an attitude of I can and not I can't. Because
A hundred percent. Can you share elements
Mhm.
of what type of things you would like to manifest in your life, in your existence, in your heart space, or in your spiritual realm, or wherever?
I want to manifest a positive, beautiful community of people
Mm.
that I vibe with. I want to manifest
Oh yeah.
all these trips, the ocean. I want to manifest a soft life. Have you heard of that? That's a popular one that's coming out now. Soft life.
No, I haven't. I love it though. I love the way it sounds. What does it mean to you?
I don't want. I've lived a hard life. A soft life is vacationing. Is
Oh, then that's me
after
then. Mhm.
a soft life is Aruba, is Jamaica. A soft life is waterfalls, taking a dip in the Nile River. That's a soft life. When we on
Nice.
vacation, that's a soft life. But to live like that all the time, to live like and just be happy where I'm at with whatever I have, because a soft life can be found within, you
A
know.
hundred
Yeah.
percent. 100%. Well, it sounds like I've been desiring a soft life for a long time.
Yes.
And I've
Yeah.
experienced elements, but I think it's nice to have that laptop lifestyle where you can just travel, and that is the bigger plan for me too. So
Yes.
that's really, really, really beautiful. So you want to manifest. You want to manifest more travel, the Aruba, the Antiguas. Where else we going?
Oh,
Um,
Belize, Ghana, Cuba, Brazil.
yeah, 100%. Oh, Brazil, I was meant to go before lockdown, but I want to go everywhere. India included, and Colombia, and Mexico, and so many places. Yes, I'm very cultural in terms
Yeah.
of my likings.
I've never been to the Philippines. I really want to go to the Philippines.
Oh, yeah, that's on my list too,
That's another
actually.
motherland of mine. It's beautiful out there. It's kind of like,
Mm.
yes, this is just I want to experience all the wonders here on Earth while I'm here. That's all.
So
That's
let me talk more about manifestation in terms of, again, I said it's a lot of popular trends, and this is a positive trend, even if it is a trend. And sometimes I feel like when I'm trying to be, or I am being realistic in some subjects with peers or colleagues, and say, oh, you're being negative. It's not negative to be realistic. So I do feel that the manifestation where people are extreme with it, where there's slightly no curve for reality, the opposite will be seen as negative. So for an example, I've said to somebody, okay, if your level, remember, everyone's different. Everyone's power and ability is very individual. Yeah. I've said to somebody, if you are capable of manifesting all that you say you can in the here and now, then just close your eyes and just say there's going to be, £1 million in your letterbox right now. Go downstairs and go get it. Now, do you see where I'm going with this? So
no, I
see now. For me, I believe in manifestation, but I also believe one key thing why I gave that cynical response, not to you though, but to those. Yeah. Sometimes, no matter how hard you may pray or manifest or believe in self, there's two things that I've learned to accept. What I want for me, my God doesn't always want for me, honey.
mm-hmm.
And that's the reality I'm talking about. Not for
Yeah.
you, but as I penetrate the conversation of, I've had this before with people who've gone in deep and, oh no, anything I want, I can get. If you believe it, that's great, because maybe where you're coming from or your powers or your answers, maybe you can do that. But the reality is sometimes, like someone said, you're not trying hard enough. No, maybe it's for me to surrender,
Mm-hmm. Exactly, and that's a
be
part.
and be still
Yes.
and allow the creator to move and
Yes.
manifest more than I am. I just have to accept that it's possible.
Yes. 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 You surrender. I
What do you
was
think about that?
no. I agree. I agree. I agree. It is important to surrender. I could plan anything. I planned the whole trip. I was supposed to go to Cuba, Miami Beach, Atlanta,
Right,
and it got cut short. But it got cut short for a reason. Because
right.
if it didn't get cut short, I wouldn't be going to Washington D.C. tomorrow. So like certain things happen for a reason. Not everything's gonna go the way you plan, but as long as you are doing the work, you're gonna eventually get to all your points that you want to go to. So it's just like you have to
Well,
have
I would say you may, but
yeah,
if it's not my creator's will, no, I won't.
yeah, no, it
You
won't. It
see
won't.
my point?
Yeah, because if
Mm.
you're sick, like say if you get COVID, and I
Oh
don't
shit.
bring
No,
that.
it could just be a case where I wanted to go and, for an example, Brazil. Oh shit. Okay, COVID's come, but on the flip side, maybe I'm supposed to fall into that job role that I had in the meanwhile.
Yes,
That
yes,
took me to another place of expanding my career, though. That had
exactly,
nothing to do with the soft life. You
exactly.
feel me? Yeah, so I do. I'm all for manifestation. I mean, what choice do we have? Live or die? It's like, we have to believe in something. Otherwise, what we're going to do. But on the
Yeah,
flip side, I say to people, sometimes, it's just a surrendering. And that is something that I've been learning to do in the last year, is just to surrender. Because I
yeah,
find that I'm the kind of person, I'm always pushing and grinding. And I spent a lot of time on self-care, don't get me wrong, and I've been naughty in the last month or two, I must say. But on the flip side, there's so much push and planning and goal setting, and some people may have the vision boards. I get it.
hmm
But sometimes I need to be more still
hmm
so I can hear and feel the guidance from a deeper perspective.
yes,
And maybe that's why sometimes we don't reach it because there's something else you need to do.
Yes, yes, yes. I
So
hear.
I'm learning to manifest more surrendering and being because I spend far too much time, 5 days, 10 days, 10 years ahead. It's, more time in the present is what I need to learn to do.
Yeah, now the being in the now. That's a very
That,
important.
that's something that I need to work a lot more on is being more in the now.
Yeah, being in the now. That's getting back
Yeah.
to. That's being centered. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, finding that center is very important. NDRE spoke about it. Getting back to the middle. You could
Oh, I
your
love it.
the future. You don't know what's going to happen in the future, but what you can control is right here in the now.
A
So
100%. 100%. Well, is
yeah,
there anything else that you would like to cover that we didn't get to chop it up on tonight?
I I just how about I end it with a piece because I know are we
Go
over?
for it.
And I want to
There's
tell
no, there's no, there's no over.
you.
We be chilling. This is chit chat with Silver. We're chilling.
Okay, all right. Well, I share this piece. I like three is my favorite number, so I like sharing.
Somebody sent a friend request. This is not gate crash night. This is exclusive. This is exclusive talk, I'm afraid. But whoever you are, inbox me and you can schedule your own talk. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, this piece is called "Love Is Like After Nas Is Like," and this is from a poetry prompt on Clubhouse or
Mm-hmm.
empowerment. So there's two titles to this poem: "Love Is Like After Nas Is Like" in parentheses,
Mm-hmm.
or "Love's Empowerment."
Mm-hmm.
I was in the room called Let's Poet on Clubhouse, and I wrote this on August 21st, 2022. The
No.
prompt is this: if anybody wants to write to the prompt, it's basically this, people. My love is like, is the prompt. My love is like omnipotent,
Mm.
like God's love, forever giving, forever healing, forever dealing with your shenanigans and wonder. My love is like the father you always wanted to provide essence to your soul. My love is gold, the divine currency. My love is the glory that makes your soul glow. Feeling fresh, so funky smooth. My love will shine on you. Soul flow, fresh to death. My love is deaf poetics like Russell Simmons providing space for poets. My love is divine poetics. Follow my love on Instagram on a Monday night, Friday night live, and a Sunday morning. My love is a Pentecostal groove, got you speaking in tongues and running down the aisle in a church in Mississippi while a mass choir sings in jubilation. Joyful, joyful Lord, we adore thee. Mighty wonder you implore. My love is salvation, the divination of a hummingbird that flutters past your visionary essence to inspire you to become your best self, living your best life. My love is the trumpets that ring in revelations, warning you of the end of suffering. My love is reparations that will provide you with currency and everything you need organically. My love is whole foods, not that contaminated shit. My love is when Samuel L. Jackson says motherfucker, because I know the etymology
Mm.
hurts. My love is sincere in the belly of the beast. My love knows Africa in the ending. My love is the warmth of a Thanksgiving feast. My love is oscillation, a sweet caramel and ebony's inspiration. That kind of love that triggers you to transmute, to revolutionize your life, to be Black Power strong. Angela Davis's song, story of a revolutionary turned solutionary that impacts you to turn master your love around. My love is Jill Scott.
Mm.
My love will have you question who is you. My love is country soul food, fried chicken gumbo smooth, mustard greens and callaloo, yard style curry chicken, saltfish, and aki, and
Mm.
adobo. My love is jasmine rice that feeds a billion souls daily. My love ain't shady. My love ain't slim. My love is the game you know within. And to my,
Mm.
if you ever have the opportunity to experience my love, oh, the fruitions that will glean. And if you see me as a part of what you do, then know that my love will infinitely speak and be a part of you.
Oh, that was so good. Guys, show some love. Throw some hearts in the comments box. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Some fire bombs and shit. Yeah, that was so dope. There's so many punchlines that I forgot it now. That's trying to. I meant to recite back to you. Oh, I'm gonna tell him. I like this part, the Samuel Jackson part. I love it all. Yeah. Your love is kung fu, brother. That was deep. I love it. Yeah, you missed that part out though, right? That was so dope. And when did you write that?
That was written recently too. That was on August 21st. Yeah, August
That
21st.
was nice. Let me take a peep in the comments box. Yeah, you got some yums going on in the comments box, yeah? Okay. That was so good. Well, listen, it has been a pleasure vibing with you today.
Thank you.
Before I go, I'd like to ask you something that I ask everybody that comes on here, and I call it afterthoughts.
Mhm.
What is your afterthoughts? How have you spent your time here tonight? How are you feeling?
I feel like I just wrote a poem, like I can breathe, you know.
Mm. Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah. So I feel like I have a new fresh 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 breath or going on right now. Like I'm a whole new person, you know, because when we interact with people or when we write, well, when I write poetry, I feel like I can breathe better, you know. And when I'm done
Mm.
and it's completed and I'm like, oh, it's done. That's how I feel right
Nice. That's amazing. Dante, you have been an absolute pleasure. In the midst of your travels and manifesting and Hollywood and acting on the big screen and traveling back to Ghana, do keep me posted. Yeah.
now.
Please
Okay.
tag me in your travel post because I love it all. Yeah. And maybe even while you're in Ghana, oops, if the signal's not so bad, let's do a quick live. Let me know what's going on. I would love it. Take me with you on your visualization. I would love it. Yeah. And
Most
even
definitely.
if you don't, in the near future, please come back and let me know how life is for you. Honestly, keep me posted.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
Thank
Thank
you so much. Namaste, my darling.
you so
Yes,
much.
and big hugs too, virtual hugs.
Thank
Speak to
you.
you soon. Bye.
Peace, peace.
Feel free to exit yourself.
All right.
See ya. Oh, that was so nice. I love hearing people's stories. I love experiencing other people's renditions of life. It's a beautiful thing. Guys, those of you who joined us tonight, thank you so much. And for those who watched the playback, even better. For anyone watching this who wants to come and have a chit chat with me on any topic goes as long as it flows, inbox me. Let's schedule a date. I do Wednesdays and Fridays at 8 p.m. UK time. So let's make it happen. And perhaps you are also an artist, a poet, a musician, or whatever. Let's have conversation and we can weave your talents or your poetry or your songs or your instruments in between our talks. So whoever was sending me a request, I wonder who it is. I'm so curious. You got to, okay. Okay, whoever was sending me a request, please inbox me. Let's have a chit chat and pen you in. Peace and love.